Yes, good morning, Mr. Greifenberg. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Christian Pahl. I'm the CEO of UniDevice, and we are in the business of wholesale of high-end devices, electronic devices, mainly from Apple. And as we do more back-to-back business than normal wholesalers, we have a very differentiating point in our business model. Of course, all the explanations are not an investment advice. And here you see our mission. We are profiting from innovation. So the digitization of private and professional life now with 5G gives us all a new edge, and we are working with this. We consider us as a broker more than a wholesaler because we are very successful in back-to-back order flow. So when we get an order in the morning, we care for organizing the supply. So this goes hand in hand. So we have a very fast turnover of our products, 3 to 8 days in inventory. And that's why we are more seen as a broker in consumer electronics than a wholesaler. Some words about the business model, the market development, finances, and an outlook. And here again, you see our best moving products. The best one is the iPhone, and then the Apple Watch. These are the best products for us. We are a company with about 22 people, located in the Berlin area and in the Kassel area. In Kassel, we have our central warehouse, and all products come to Kassel, and when we have them, then we ship them. I joined the company in 2017, and in 2016, we had 135 million revenue. In 2021, this grew with an average increase of 21% per year to 348 million. And the earnings before interest and tax were 760,000 euro in 2016 and above 3 million in 2021. For 2022, we now have preliminary and unaudited numbers, which present sales of 460 million and earnings before interest and tax of just below 5 million euro. So we have a continuous good development. When we see here, beside Apple, also Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi, I would like to add a comment on that. We have also a little bit now volume in Samsung, but Samsung devices have more risk. With Apple, when everything runs very smooth, we have 2 or 3 new main models per year. And with Samsung, there are, let's say, 30 new smartphones per year. So every second week, you see a new Samsung smartphone and on the market, and they don't come to all European markets at the same time. So sometimes you get an offer from another wholesaler and you wonder, wow, they are so attractive, these prices. And you see in your own market only weeks afterwards that new models came in that are cannibalizing old existing models. So Apple is the cherry, and we pick still the best product with the highest price stability and the strongest loyalty from consumers, which is Apple. Huawei is under scrutiny because they just don't only sell smartphones and other devices, but also the infrastructure where there is belief this could be used by the Chinese government for espionage. So Huawei is under a lot of scrutiny. So we don't have any Huawei business. And Xiaomi, we also don't have any business, but they are not so much under scrutiny. It's just that Apple is the most stable price product line and has the highest loyalty from their consumers. Here, a little bit an overview. regarding the customers, our customers don't get the products from China. They are already in Europe, where we buy them from distributors. And so we are much quicker than a normal order. Let's say if a telephone company or a B2C chain like notebooksbilliger.de would buy from a distributor, it would take the normal lead time from China, and from us, they get the products in 2 to 3 days with a little bit a price advantage on that. And that makes it very interesting in the optimization of the inventory for our customer, which is, let's say, a small telephone company or a B2C chain. Our suppliers are distributors in other countries within the European Union, which have a small price advantage, not a big one. Of course, Apple earns the big chunk always as the manufacturer of the gross margin, and the distributors and us, we only earn a very small trading margin, but at least we earn this every week because we have a very fast turnover. That's the beauty of our business. And the supplier that would sell to us, let's say it would be distributor from Italy. Within Italy, they have very long payment terms. So this distributor who sells to us would get in his country the money only after 90 days or even a longer period. And from us, he gets it immediately. So this cash flow advantage is the big driver why we are a very preferred customer for distributors. We don't want to have a distributor license from Apple ourselves, because this would cost a very big investment, and we would be then bond to that label. And of course, we know that Apple is fantastic. Since 2009, we are in that business, but the world changes and you never know if someone else gets big and more attractive, even more so in technical devices. So we rather don't invest a lot of money in a distributor license, but we are very happy to be able to buy and sell every day without the requirement of buying everything they have. We know from distributors that sometimes the container is filled with products they don't like. And I have here an example. The iPhone in red works in certain markets, but not at all in all markets. And it could be that a distributor orders from Apple only products in silver, in black, in white, which are the most used and common colors, but they also get something in red just to make the container full. And to the same price, they are not cheaper. And we buy them, for example, from the distributor, and we are able to sell it in another country where the color is accepted by the consumers and paid for in full price. So we are delivering two aspects to the markets. One is faster cash flow, and the other one is to help to distribute products which are needed to the respective customer who has at the certain point of time the need for the product. Because in a general view, smartphones are a giveaway for telephone companies. So normally a person subscribes for another 36-month period with a telephone company. In every country might be different, 24 to 48 months, and then gets a new iPhone and pays per month a certain monthly amount, but not the full, let's say 1,000 euro or 800 euro, whatever the product might need. So it is very expensive. It's a giveaway to make the subscription of a telephone contract. And that means that the telephone companies only want to have as little inventory as possible. And because we deliver within a couple of days, this is highly appreciated by many telephone companies. Here, another way to look at it. So we focus clearly on Apple, but because we did not pay distributor license, we are able to switch whenever another product line becomes the best product line to others, because we don't have this investment, and the distributors are common with all the major manufacturers. And we buy, and as I said, also a little bit of Samsung, but very carefully, and from the distributors, and then we sell to wholesalers, retailers, and telephone companies. And normally they have a certain mix from products which they buy directly from the distributors, and a part they buy from us. Here you see a little bit an overview. UniDevice owns 100% of PPA International, which is our operative company, which is known in the electronics market for buying and selling, for being a wholesaler, but a very fast one, so more a broker. And you see here in the area of Kassel, we have our service company with a warehouse where the products are received, controlled, checked, and then shipped to the customer. My colleague Hamid Samjam is one of the founders, and he's since 2013 with the company as a board member, and he's a very experienced person, and I'm very grateful to work with him and the other 21 colleagues we have on board. And we are very international. We have about 11 languages spoken within the team, so that's very strong. Because we don't only sell in Germany, also to other European membership countries, so EU countries, but also depending on the strength of the euro compared to the dollar, it could be that we buy in the US or that we sell to the US, because Apple does not always track and correct the prices according to changes in the currency relation, euro to dollar. So there we have also an option which we use for arbitrage. Here a little bit milestones. 2009, the business was started in that way and developed very good to what was mentioned before in 2021, 348 million sales, which according to our preliminary numbers for 2022 is now 460 million. And the value of optimization in supply chain was there and still is there. You always have the need to have as low inventory as possible and getting the product as soon as possible within 2 or 3 days. So then if you see as a telephone company, oh, my customers do not want, like I thought, I planned on the numbers of the quarter before, let's say with a certain graphic card or a certain camera in the phone or a certain color of the phone. Now, for whatever reason, other models are requested, then they get them from us quicker than from a normal distributor and at a little bit more favorable price. A little bit about the market development. Worldwide, we have sales of about 1.2 billion units of smartphones, and in Germany of about 22 million. We are selling about 500,000 units, so we have a very, very tiny market share. This does not relate to only Germany, but we have to see that we sell internationally. So it could be that we sell more than half of our products out of Germany, and 90% of our sales are smartphone sales. So we have, of course, a very stable market. Nearly everyone owns in Western Europe a smartphone. But the new developments like 5G and better cameras and overall better products make it interesting for people to upgrade to a new model. So this still works. And interestingly, we see that second half year of last year and also now, what we see in January, February, the people buy the even most expensive products. So when the iPhone 14 came out last year, We did not sell as much of the basic model, but more over proportional a lot of the more expensive Plus and Pro Max models. So that's very interesting that the Apple loyalty customers want the best products over proportionally since iPhone 14 came out last year. Here you can see that there is not a lot of growth in the market in Europe and in Germany, but we grow over proportional. So in 2022, yes, 2022, last year, we had more than 30% sales growth. So it is possible within a market which itself is very big, let's say 86 billion euro revenue in the European Union, and to have a big growth within that, if this international wholesale is on a small level compared to the very big market volume. So I see for us plenty of room for further growth within this very large multi-billion euro market. The prices go up. So the average smartphone in Europe is at about 460 euro, and in Germany a little bit more, 550 euro. Within Germany, we can also see that purchase power has a big influence on the label that is bought. So in the eastern part of Germany, the Apple dominance is lower than in the western part of Germany. And within other countries in the European Union, you see also a fluctuation between Samsung. With Samsung, of course, they have the lower and the higher end price models. And in other countries, you can see that they spend less. And where the purchase power is higher, they spend more. And when Apple cracked the 1,000 euro with iPhone 10, I was very surprised. I thought, wow, that's a lot of money. So you see that even with an average of 550 euro per smartphone in Germany, many people spend 1,300 euro. And so it's very interesting, high-end product range. We have growth in these so-called wearable devices worldwide. So people buy more and more smart watches that have then the possibility to share data with smartphones, body cameras, and different kinds of displays. And from Apple, the next big thing is expected to be a certain virtual reality. Now I'm missing the word for that, and it's not there. Yeah, will come later. So virtual reality device, and this should bring us also further growth. Regarding the finances, this is only preliminary. We have in our balance sheet a company value of, let's say, a little bit below 15 million euro for the integration of PPA International, which does the operational business. And trade receivables are about 6.5 million. This is not so much when you see that we have 460 million sales. So there you can see that we are selling our inventory quite rapidly. And also the inventory at the end of December of about 11 million. This is only a third or less of a monthly sales number. We had a record sales in November, which is the last year's always the best month in a year, with 63 million euro in the month of November. And there we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and they are big marketing events with a lot of sales, very interesting. So you can see that we are turning quickly our inventory in these numbers. Our sales development was strong, more than 30%. Our EBIT development was also very strong, but these are only preliminary numbers for 2022 and still unaudited. And here you can see that we are working with a tiny gross margin of, let's say, a little bit above 2%, but that we make an earnings before interest and tax and EBIT margin of about 1% out of that. The outlook: 5G will once again give mobile communication a boost. So there's a strong demand for 5G, and we think people will appreciate it more and more, and will have an incentive to change for new models, because old models are not able to use 5G. So whenever someone lives in a city where 5G is available, he needs a new iPhone or a new Samsung product, because with old models, he cannot use 5G. He needs the special new semiconductor chip in that. So, and here we have the word that I missed before. So the Apple glasses or virtual reality glasses might launch this year or next year. And many people think that this will be the next big thing. And we would gladly trade with that new product and hope that this will be very successful. Yes, I think I'm maybe a few minutes before scheduled through that presentation. So that's for the moment what I wanted to present. And of course, I'm happy to answer questions.
Mr. Pahl, thank you very much. There are already some questions in the chat. First of all, you had a successful year of 2022. What is the outlook for 2023, and what are the main drivers for success?
Yes. So in 2022, even though we had a record sales volume of 460 million, the first quarter was weak. So we have in 2023 already the knowledge that in January we were 16% above prior year January. And for February, of course, we only are half in, but I see also a comparable situation that we will have higher numbers in February. So for the first quarter, I'm very confident that we will be above prior year. The second quarter was also not so unachievable to over exceed. So I'm looking forward also for the second quarter. But in the third and fourth quarter, I have to admit that last year was very strong. So we have to make even higher records this year in November, December. And I thought that inflation, the reduction of purchase power, should have an impact on us in Q4, but it did not have. And a big reason for that maybe is that, let's say, 80% of the consumers don't buy cash the iPhone. They buy it with a monthly installment over 36 months. So the telephone companies, what I said as a giveaway, that need the iPhone to make the subscription model working for the telecommunication contracts, they have, of course, a very cheap access to capital markets, and they can pay and finance the very expensive smartphones, and the consumer prefers then to pay with a subscription model. So that might be a big influence why we are not suffering a decline in our customer and consumer demand. So I'm looking forward that we can very easily overachieve Q1 numbers of the prior year. I'm very confident for Q2, but I have respect for our numbers of Q3 and Q4. But overall, we should be above prior year at the end. That's my expectation. And normally it should also be with a profit, because we achieve, let's say, 1% EBIT margin, and that should remain stable.
Okay. And there are actually two questions about this. Last year you published monthly business numbers, and when will they be published for January this year?
Yeah, normally I should stick to quarterly reporting. I just feel the responsibility if something unexpected, positive or negative happens, that I then report on that, right? So there are certain months where something happened. Let's say March 2020, when we had the COVID-19 happening, and we saw that containers do not arrive anymore. Then I had to make an emergency information about that. Or when I saw that November last year was extreme with 63 million revenue in 1 month, a record, and we had 2 other records, I also then wanted to communicate about that because it was extraordinary. But now with 16% above prior year January, that's good, but that's not, I would say, as important a fluctuation that I should make a monthly investor news on that. I rather would like to wait for the full first quarter to then make the regular information about the first quarter.
And how does the exchange rate of US dollar and euro affect the business?
Yes, it boosted the business big time in Q3, I have to admit. When we had the situation that the euro was below the parity to the dollar, so below $1, we sold very little in Germany and the European Union, and we sold to US dollar areas, being it the US or being it Dubai. So that was very helpful. We still sell a lot to Dubai now with the 107 exchange rate, dollar to euro, but it's not the boost it was before. But still our customers in Germany and the European Union are there. So now they are getting more of the products.
Okay. Looking at the time, one last question. So if the VR glasses of Apple become popular, do you plan to also include the competitors into your project, for example, the Quest or Pico?
No, not so much, to be honest. We would stick with Apple and maybe add more Samsung, because we are getting the products from sources which we know very well, and our customers would be the same for Apple and Samsung. But with a different manufacturer at this point of time, I'm not sure that this would be so attractive, but it always depends on prices and volumes. If there is a lot of demand and our customers, let's say notebooksbilliger.de, for example, as a B2C chain, would demand and we would have good access, then I could imagine that. But the first place would be virtual reality glasses from Apple and Samsung. Okay.
Mr. Pahl, thank you very much. Time is up.
Yes, thank you to the audience. Thank you, Mr. Greifenberger. Thank you very much.